Good evening. This is Maestro Cretella with a Dawn of War 3 cast. Today, we have a 1v1 on Comet's Pass. Our first player is Deadline, playing as the Space Marines. He has chosen as his elites the Venerable Dreadnought, Gabriel Angelos, and Kill Team Ironmaw. His opponent, playing as the Eldar, is bikerushownz, and he has chosen as his elites Autarch Kyre, the Striking Scorpions, and the Wraithlord. So this right here is Game 2 from the finals of one of this weekend's ESL tournaments. I say one of because there's both a North American tournament as well as a European tournament, but it seems to be open registration and people will register for it even if they do not live on the respective continent. But it actually seems like right now there are weekly 1v1 tournaments for Dawn of War 3. They aren't very well televised or just very visible. Even the streams that are for them are usually just first-person streams from the players. It's not really broadcast, basically. Of course, the game actually, at the moment, I believe, does lack any kind of basically observer mode. But this is Game 2 between bikerushownz and Deadline. bikerushownz did take the first game, so it'll kind of be up to Deadline here to somehow adjust, and we'll see if he can, how we'll do in this game. So we are seeing similar openings, though. The Assault Marine opening from Deadline, as well as the Dire Avenger opening from bikerushownz. With one Assault Marine, one Assault Marine on the field, another squad ready to steal rain at any given time, and then we also have a Scout squad on the field as well. So, I mean, the Scouts in a way still surprise me because their damage really is pretty pitiful. 11 DPS, and in this game, that's actually really low. If anything, I'd say like they're probably offering. Like, in terms of just their shooting ability, they're probably worse in this game than they were in Dawn of War 2. And I think most of just their usefulness, I think more comes out of this, the blind grenade. So it will just stun a unit that it hits. It can stun more than one. And there's still things about this tooltip that I feel is missing information. Like, I wish it would tell how long the stun lasts. It does even say that it causes damage, but I don't think the damage is that significant. But again, like, I wish it would say how long this stun lasts. We know it has a 65-second cooldown, so, I mean, that's in over a minute when, if the ability is on cooldown, the Scouts really aren't going to be contributing that much. So, triple Dire Avengers running around for bikerushownz. Looks like he's just going to try to be aggressive and maybe make a push on... Man, what even? Because I don't know... Oh, yeah, he can walk up here. He can walk up here, so he's going to make a push on the resources. He looks like he'll probably destroy something. It's hard to see exactly what he's destroying, but there is the Scout Grenade. And, I mean, that wasn't that long. Like, it's hard to tell without, like, basically without actually being told. It felt like maybe 3-ish seconds, which, although he did do that to 3 units, it still doesn't feel that impactful considering a 65-second cooldown and how little the Scouts offer aside from the grenade. So a lot of things are happening now. Assault Marines are jumping in, Kill Team Ironmaw deployed and immediately upgraded to Flamers, and I'm trying to figure out, like, how many... I think the squad... I don't know. Like, I feel like a squad might have been lost there for bikerushownz, but I didn't even notice. They're just still staring at too many other things. But here come the Striking Scorpions again, which they did a lot of work in the last game. Here's the shield generator. So one of the things about Comet's Pass is that, unlike, say, Karen's Rest, there's only one shield generator and one turret, as opposed to Karen's Rest and Port Saunders, where there are 2 each. So, theoretically, a little bit easier to maybe open up a win condition on this map, or I don't know if that's true, actually, because even on the others, you don't need to On the other maps, you don't need to take down like both of the shield generators or both of the turrets. You only need to go through one path. So actually, I'm wondering if there's even, if it really is even that different. Zero those striking scorpions. Maybe let's see if we can take a closer look. Just gonna cut that up. And I mean, they really just seem to cut through things really, really fast. But it does look like Deadline has a little bit of his own resource harassment going on right here. So another listening post being put up. And I mean, so this game has released with, there are only 3 damage types: true, normal, and armor piercing. And I believe the only armor types are normal and heavy. So I wonder if that's something that might even change as the game, the life of the game goes on. I didn't even play Dawn of War 2 when it was first released, so I don't even know what it was like when it was first released. I didn't play until Retribution, really, and then even when I played Retribution, I probably got into it a few months late.
Webway assimilation attained Tier 2.
Striking Scorpions stealthed, and I think they're stealth both from the hunt ability. They're just going to jump in, even outnumbered, but here's the support. Wow, the support's right there. Very good positioning by bikerushownz in this case. Had his support for the Striking Scorpions. They initiated the engagement, and I think they're just going to mop the floor with the scouts. With the kill team Ironmaw. Ultimately, were deterred by the scouts, and I'm beginning to see more of an argument for the scouts. I think what's important about the scouts is actually having more than one of them, because the first grenade there was actually a complete whiff. The second one did technically whiff too, but that's because bikerushownz microed out of the way so that his Striking Scorpions would not get stunned. And I mean, I think another thing to consider about this game is that, Striking Scorpion's gonna leap back in. Oh god, that's actually so bad. He was trying to use the teleport homer to get Kill Team Ironmaw out of there, and then redeploy them. And I think if you use the teleport homer, it's not that long to redeploy. Definitely not as long as them actually dying and having to wait for this cooldown to happen. So that was a huge loss for Deadline. Maybe not huge, but it was certainly unfortunate. So we actually see 3 scout squads, and I think another reason, again, to making the scout squads work is having more than one of them. But I think this one is going to go down. Then I think even if they do go down, they aren't exactly expensive just to get a new one. So I think the design of the Striking Scorpions is actually something that makes them very inherently powerful. First of all, they have Hunt ability. The Hunt ability infiltrates them and creates a cloud of smoke, which acts as stealth cover. So I think that means even other units, aside from the Striking Scorpions themselves, can go inside that smoke cloud laid down by the Hunt ability, and they'll be able to benefit from that too. Hunt even stores multiple charges, and that's useful just as, well, stealthing around, as well as I think using that as an escape. You know, you just use Hunt and you disappear, and then suddenly your opponent can't really continue to chase the Striking Scorpions. Leap Strike, relatively short range for a jump ability, not as big as, say, the Assault Marines, but I mean, it's still a burst movement ability. They can use that to engage. And right now it just seems to me that, again, like, for the cost of the Striking Scorpions and the time they come out in the game, I feel like they're winning most one-on-one fights. The scouts might actually be a big part in terms of dealing with countering the Striking Scorpions. We also see that there has been some harassment on bikerushownz shield generator.
Relocating sky portal.
So puts the Bone Singer on top, actually gives the shield generator a shield.
We have finished our task.
Which I think gives it some additional protection.
It is now the second phase of escalation.
So I'm following around these striking scorpions, not even catching everything that's going on the field. And it looks like, so bikerushownz not quite having the dominant showing that he had the last time.
Summoning howling banshees.
Kill Team Ironmaw is back.
Warrior portal in transit. Recall upon the Falcon.
Because bikerushownz actually lost all of his Dire Avenger squads somehow and somewhere. My guess is it had something to do with the Assault Marines. So we're again seeing that Power Sword upgrade from the Assault Marines. So gives them true damage melee weapons. And here's Gabriel Angelos as well. And you know what I've heard about as far as what like some good players have been saying about getting the Power Sword upgrades is, at some point for the Space Marines, you want to go to Tier 2, get a Machine Cult, and start building Land Speeders. Getting a Power Sword upgrade kind of delays that. Ooh, actually took out the Striking Scorpions from bikerushownz, and it seems to be mainly Gabriel Angelos that really made that possible. So that's kind of what I expected. Gabriel Angelos is kind of what is going to deal with the Striking Scorpions. The problem is that Gabriel Angelos is a 4-point elite, so you need... He's just not going to come out as early as the Striking Scorpions. But I mean, I guess it does seem like once you can get him out on the field. Oh wow, that's actually pretty intense. Just the chunks that Gabriel Angelos is taking out of the shield of the Falcon. Assault Marines again, meanwhile harassing. At some point, I'm expecting them to jump out. Or they're just going to stay in there. All right, they do manage to get out, but the problem is at this point is that we do have a Falcon, and that Falcon can chase these Assault Marines down. So I feel like there's a lot of like, how to explain? Just the way the teching works, where like new parts of tech or just the way the game escalates will counter certain things. Like, the Assault Marines can't really jump away and escape engagements as easily now that there is a Falcon out on the field that is ultimately just faster than the Assault Marines and can chase them around. Especially if they're jumping out with very little health left, the Falcon can just go chasing. So Falcon at 60 DPS and doing normal damage actually seems pretty powerful. So we're actually seeing some Banshees as well. And the Banshees are a bit unexpected. Banshees aren't quite meta. But nevertheless, they're going in and they are doing some work. And I think what helps, though, and what's going to make the Banshees work, is that they do have the support of the Falcon. So they have both range damage support, as well as they can reinforce from the Falcon. You know, it looks like we're going to have another bit of a push on the shield generator. We do see a warrior portal here, however. Flamers going off for Kill Team Ironmaw. We're going to see a drop pod, probably with some Assault Marines inside. Called it right there. And he's attempting to I think he's attempting to relocate the warrior portal, but I think it will be destroyed before that happens. Alright, can he finish off the shield generator here, though? That's the question. Doesn't seem like he's actually going for it. I think Gabriel Angelos should be able to do it, but the Striking Scorpions are going to come out very, very soon. Shield generator has been destroyed. So Deadline doing much, much better in this game than he was doing before. Don't think this squad of Assault Marines is going to get out, but I think what's also kind of useful about Gabriel right here is how he can actually stun the Falcons with Godsplit. Everyone's favorite lore-breaking ability. Gabriel Angelos possibly in a little bit of trouble right here. Disrupts both the Striking Scorpions as well as Autarch Kyre. So Autarch Kyre called out on the field as well. So Autarch Kyre is kind of interesting. He's kind of flashy as well. But I think Gabriel Angelos is also going to go down. And like, I think part of what's rough there for Deadline is even if he tried to disengage by, like, say, having Gabriel Angelos use God Splitter to try to get away. I think there's just plenty of chase potential for bikerushownz. So here's Kyre. He is in skimmer mode now because he did use Sky Leap. He's got Sky Leap and Sky Fall. Sky Leap will make him fly in the air. It does disable his weapons. He can also use Sky Fall where he will just land. And he has a few different abilities. He's got Eldritch Winds, which is the ability we see right there. Puts out some cyclones that does damage over time. He can then recall the Eldritch Winds, and it will displace whatever unit is within the cyclone, pulling it toward Kyre, and then he can use his other ability during Sky Leap, which is the Plasma Grenade Barrage. So it's like kind of a combo. You do Eldritch Winds, recall the winds, and then drop grenades on top of whatever you've displaced. So we're also seeing a Viper as well, and the Viper play is something that, to me, I'll be honest and say I don't fully understand why the Vipers are chosen. The Viper really doesn't seem as useful as, say, the Falcon. My guess is actually just for the sake of putting a unit out on the field more cheaply. The Falcon itself is so valuable that you do want to have at least one, but it's like instead of getting a second Falcon, getting a Viper in addition to a Falcon, so that he can have multiple units out on the field. And I mean, you can get the power cost of the Viper is much less than the Falcon. Much less. It's, I believe, half as much. 125 versus 50 power. Could even like get multiple Vipers. The Viper does do true damage with the rockets that it's shooting right there. It also has some kind of weapon mounted like on the front of the gun. Now we're actually seeing it fire a little bit. I think it's just a shuriken catapult. Don't know how much damage it does, and the game actually does not tell you. Meanwhile, over here are the land speeders. One that's low on hit points needs to just get out of there, I think, and he kind of presses his luck and loses an entire land speeder, and that really does feel pretty painful to me, since, I mean, the land speed, really any vehicle in this game is pretty expensive on power, and it's kind of a pretty significant loss. I think the land speeder, I'll have to go back to Deadline side, I think the land speeder is something at least 100 power. Land speeder 175. 175. Should outshoot the Viper as far as I know, but the Viper is just going to kind of just get out of there. So the land speeder is still out here, and the land speeder, he does have the, I believe he has, yeah, the ablative armor doctrine to give the Viper a shield. Right now the shield is not currently active. Does have a multi-melta now, I think, on both of his land speeders. And that should make it, seems to actually make it counter the Vipers pretty hard. Since these land speeders actually have something like, I think, especially with the land speeder shield, I think they have something like twice as much health as the Viper. That being said, still lost one of the land speeders, and I think he's going to lose the second one. He's going to try to... Oh wow, that was actually a really close call, really committed. Okay, but here it looks like the Strike the Scorpions managed to destroy the shield generator for Deadline. So this is overall proving to be a much better game than the last one, which was honestly just a complete... I don't know, lost the word, but basically Bike Rush really wiped the floor with Deadline. This game, Deadline's making it a lot more competitive. It's actually to the point where right now you can't actually really call this game. Ooh, and we actually get to see the game going longer, get to see more elites called. From what I'm noticing of the game so far is the 9 and 10 point elites don't seem to be terribly common in 1v1 play at the moment, and I think a lot of that just has to do with their excessive cost. I mean, in the last game, we didn't even have time for 7-point elites to be called out on the field. This time, we actually have enough where we've seen all three of Deadline's elites come out. So the Venerable Dreadnought is a ranged Dreadnought, so a bit different from Dawn of War 2. has a plasma cannon. So the plasma cannon does have a regular basic attack. It also has the maximal charge ability. Now the thing about the maximal charge ability is that it is very, very slow, and it seems, you know, it seems like just the basic attack of the plasma cannon does just fine. It actually means that the Venerable Dreadnought has plenty of range, as well as 55 hit points of heavy armor. It does do 71 DPS armor piercing. So something's happening over here, though. We are going to see triple Vipers. Does he still have a Falcon? Alright, I'll have to switch the units over to his side. So no, he did lose the Falcon at some point. He did lose both of his Falcons, because at one point I think he had two. And Gabriel can definitely have some anti-vehicle utility because of the fact that God Splitter will actually stun vehicles. But it might be a lot harder to catch these Vipers, especially if they're going to be in places where infantry units cannot go, really taking advantage of the skimmer mobility afforded by the land speeders. I'm sorry, by the Vipers. And I mean, the Falcon is a skimmer too, so it can do that as well. Pretty sure the Falcon is a bit slower though. And it's a little bit tough with... There are obviously things going on in different parts of the map, hard to tell where the best place to be is. And then you run into situations like this. This is actually really not looking good for Deadline, because at this point he's going to lose his machine cult. Going to lose the machine cult guaranteed. That also means the barracks right now are exposed. I think he's just gonna like try to all in on the turret, since he's got all three of his elites. I don't know if he's got any other units actually supporting. And then if we take a look at the turret, it works with, it does have the, it does have its main beam attack.
Initiating shockwave.
You know what, the way I think this is going to work out is, I think he's going to try to go all in, and I think it's going to fail. That's how I presently think this is going to work out. And a great thing about getting the Vipers, I guess, is they were just over here a little while ago, and they were able to go back all the way to base for the defense. Although they have been losing to the Venerable Dreadnought. The Venerable, though, starting to take damage just from the Eldritch Storm. It's really just standing inside the Eldritch Storm. The turret has not actually been destroyed, so that's going to be the end of the Venerable. And he's already lost both Kill Team Ironmaw and Gabriel Angelos. So that did not go so well. Yeah, bikerushownz definitely came out on top of that, but even he's still low in units. Lost two of the Vipers from the Venerable Dreadnought, which is not terribly surprising. The Venerable does have that plasma cannon, does do armor-piercing damage, so it's going to be pretty strong against a vehicle. Here are the Assault Marines, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct with what I guessed, which is it activated the focus shield ability, but I think that didn't protect from the power swords of the Assault Marines. I think so. It says absorbs shots, and I don't think swords count as shots.
We have upgraded vehicle health.
So I mean, just the shots that the Falcon shoots out seems to be pretty good at just taking out chunks of really just any structure. Falcon honestly just seeming like a very powerful unit at the moment, especially with that focus shield ability. Meanwhile, this Viper missiles explode on hit, doing damage and slow in a circle. That actually makes more sense for why the Vipers are used, because they have kind of a functionality that the Falcon won't have, which is this slowing ability from that doctrine.
Southeast of your position.
Meanwhile, here's Autarch Kyre. Autarch Kyre does do true damage with his sword. Striking Scorpions out on the field, but I mean, I think at any given point in the game, the Striking Scorpions are going to win against the Assault Marines, unless they maybe have a lot of upgrades. But if I take a look back at the arsenal, all right, so Deadline does have an infantry health upgrade, does not have any infantry damage upgrades though. Meanwhile, bikerushownz does not even have a Soul Shrine, and I don't think we'll need it. The Soul Shrine, maybe not quite as... as important as, say, the arsenal for Space Marines. Since I believe the way it works, and as someone pointed out, instead of upgrading their health, they upgrade their shields. And the shields only represent, in fact, the shields generally represent a smaller portion of their total hit points than their health. Could vary by unit, but I think that's the general trend.
They target our listening shrine.
So for Kyre, that's actually not true. For the Striking Scorpions, it's actually not true as well. Is true for the Eldar vehicles, though. Still, the shields only represent a portion of their total health, whereas when Space Marines upgrade their health, they're getting a percentage increase based on their total health pool. These Assault Marines are probably done.
Let us make the most of this resource.
Oh, what do we see? These are... hard to tell whether these are Wraithguard or Wraithblade because it won't let me click on what is actually building. Although if I actually go to the Infinity Portal...
The chapel barracks are under attack.
I wanted bikerushownz.
Our warrior, the vehicle has met its end.
Actually not displaying correctly.
The turret's shockwave ability is
Wraithblades.
recharged.
So I actually haven't seen a lot of Wraithblade play. Generally, when I see a unit, it is usually more Wraithguard than Wraithblade, since the Wraithguard are long-ranged. They're also a little bit cheaper to produce. I really have not seen that many Wraithblades, particularly in 1v1 games. Alright, should be the end of those Striking Scorpions. But man, look at how easily those Falcons are destroying that Kill Team Ironmaw. Man, the Falcon really just seems very powerful, especially now that there are 3 of them. I don't know what he's going to do about this. Gabriel Angelos chasing after it is really not enough. And although Deadline has made this game much more competitive than the last one, it's looking like we're at the point where it's going to be the game in favor of bikerushownz. Wow, a Predator of all things. Alright, does look like the Predator does have a little bit of an advantage over the Falcon. Man, the Falcon actually... Sorry, the Predator actually looks so small in comparison to the Falcon. Just driving through drop pods. Unfortunately for the Predator, it does seem to me like these Falcons can really just run away. But the Predator definitely has the advantage of... So the Predator is going to be... It's going to be heavy armor. So the Falcon should not actually do that well as far as damaging the Predator. We take a look back at the Falcon. Whoa! So that's Kyre using the Eldritch Winds to displace the Predator. It wasn't incredibly effective, but now the Predator, I think, is just going to be overwhelmed. So yeah, I mean, it's not taking that much damage from the Falcons, but at this point it will just be overwhelmed, and especially it doesn't even look like the Wraithblades will get the chance to get in melee. So I don't know. At this point, it does seem like maybe it's just kind of giving up.
Finished our task.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I don't know. I mean, these Falcons faster than the Predator, can fly over terrain. Alright, so that's actually the end result in favor of bikerushownz. I believe it was just a best of 3. Congratulations to him for winning that tournament. Hope you enjoyed the cast. Have a good night.